Today, I'm interviewing my very first guest, and it's someone quite special. When I say special, I mean the Queen. Not this one though. Perhaps another time. Probably not. Ladies, gentlemen, greetings, and welcome to the Kinetoscope Parlour, where we meet strange and wonderful people. I'm your host, Baron Celsius von Fahrenheit. Known as Countess Eleonora and the Canadian Queen of Steampunk, she is the founder of both Steampunk Canada and Steampunk Ottawa. It is my great pleasure to introduce Lee Ann Farruga. Welcome to the Kinetoscope Parlour.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, there's one thing I'd like to clarify for my viewers, and I think you can help me with that. Can you tell us exactly what steampunk is?
Steampunk is a growing and changing kraken. It started basically in the Victorian period with Victorian science fiction, so H.G. Wells and Jules Verne and their stories. And then it progressed. It was never called steampunk really until 1980s when an author named Jeter used it jokingly really, and then it caught on. Then about 2007 it really took off with the internet, when people were able to start sharing their creations and their love over the internet. And from there it has progressed and it's changed, so that's not just based in Victorian England now, but it's international.
You founded what has become quite a big community around steampunk. What made you want to invest that kind of effort in this particular movement?
Well, when my husband and I started Steampunk Ottawa originally, and I really got involved in it, I really grew to love the community and the people, and steampunk was something I always loved before it even had the name steampunk. So once we really got going, I started looking around for any Canadian type of group so that we could get involved on a bigger scale, and there was nothing there. So I simply started Steampunk Canada to bring everyone across Canada together.
Is there anything particular that distinguishes Canadian steampunk from others around the world?
I think the thing with Canadian steampunk is that we have such a large landmass that our communications with each other is very different. So you have different groups getting together in small pockets in different areas, and then larger gatherings online mostly for conversation and sharing. So that's why Steampunk Canada, we have the photo album on there so people can share that way. People contribute to articles and their reviews and such. We also have a different idea of what steampunk is because we're a colonial land, but we're independent as well, and I think we're a little crazy, so we're more fun of.
They call you the Canadian Queen of Steampunk. What does a steampunk queen actually do, and how does one become steampunk royalty?
That is a really good question. What do I do? I guess really I act like the queen mum and not just a queen. So I'm here working for all of Canada, all the communities, all the local groups. So if others want to be royalty, then they need to get their hands dirty and even though royalty don't usually have their hands dirty, it's doing the work and loving the community and being part of it.
It is steampunk, so everyone gets their hands dirty.
That's right.
And how do you personally prefer to express your love of steampunk?
Mostly it's working with the community. I do like to do some of the dressing up and such, not as much as I did in the very beginning. As I got into it more, I just my love of it grew in different ways. So now I really love reading the books and seeing the movies and just seeing what everybody's creating and sharing that, and that's how I express my love of it.
What would you tell someone who's interested in steampunk but doesn't really know where to start?
I usually suggest to people that they look in what they're interested in geek-wise. So whether they're a LARPer or a gamer or like to build, or for engineers, they'll look into tinkering. For artists, they'll look at what other people have done. It's so easy now, especially to Google steampunk and then whatever you're interested in and find all different kinds of things to look at. And then people can get into it from there. I'm always open. I have people ask me questions all the time. So I just try to send them in the direction of what their interests are.
And what do you think are the most important values associated with steampunk?
I think the most important values are imagination and fun. It really is something that you can play with and that you can create in so many different ways. And so people can come at it from anywhere and still create in the same manner and just have fun with it. And it doesn't have to be taken seriously. Some people do, they look at it politically and such, and if that's what they're interested in, then that's great, but you don't have to do it that way, so it leaves it open.
Where do you think steampunk is going? Where will it be in, say, 5 years?
I think steampunk is going to keep growing but changing at the same time. It's constantly been rearranging itself and coming at itself from different angles. People are changing it in how they're perceiving it, and you can see it really because of the stretch to it being international. So every culture is coming at it from a different direction. Also, you're getting different artists from different areas that are looking at it differently. So not necessarily as a strict Victorian background, but some look at it post-apocalyptic, some look at it in cleaner lines, and a lot of people are also moving more towards the Edwardian end of it, because a lot of people will say it starts 1850 and goes to the First World War. That gives you a huge range to play with. Some people are even going the other end and going earlier than 1850 and trying to just look at the steam aspects of it and bring it in that way. So I think it's just going to keep evolving.
In addition to all this, you're also the Geeky Godmother. Can you tell us what that is?
That's a good question. Geeky Godmother, I kind of think of all the fandoms all at once. And that kind of gives you a sense of the crazy that is Geeky Godmother. What it is, it's my business, but it's also an expression of my love for geekdom. Although if you look at what geeky means, it means someone who's enthusiastic. That's geek. It's someone who's enthusiastic. So I'm enthusiastic about a lot of different things. So that's reflected on my website, geekygodmother.ca. It's part business in that people can buy my time, and as long as it's not illegal or immoral, I can help them with anything. If I can't help them, I'll find them someone who can. But there's also a blog aspect to it, so I do reviews of games and books and things. But I'll do live blogging for events and help promote small businesses and creators and makers and that type of thing. So it's a real mix. It's kind of like a personal concierge for artists and geeks.
Well, being a Geeky Godmother, you should be very comfortable answering your geek question.
Sure.
So I'd like to know, if you were any member of Serenity's crew, which one would you be?
I definitely would have to say it would be Shepherd. Shepherd Book, yep.
Okay, is this because you secretly always wanted to be a priest?
More that because people see me as a mom, and that's how I perceive him, very much as a dad, like a mentor, the advisor. And I always have people asking me questions or needing help as Geeky Godmother and such, and so that seems to be my role.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's been very instructive.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's all for today. I'm Baron Celsius von Fahrenheit telling you to stay weird, and I shall see you again at the Kinetoscope Parlour. Hello, Alex here. Last time I promised this vlog would be shorter. I'm gonna try and keep that promise despite my natural talkativeness. I mostly want to say how great it was to do an interview with Lee Ann. Lee Ann, you may not realize this, but when I first started making steampunk things, you're one of the people who most gave me confidence in what I was doing. You encouraged me, and that led me to make more stuff, including these videos. So you're kind of responsible for the show existing in the first place, so I guess it's only fitting that you'd be the first guest. And I also want to give a quick thank you to the nice people of Steampunk Ottawa who allowed me to film during one of their events for this particular show. And that's about it. So I hope you liked the show. If you did, please go to YouTube and click the little like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to know when the other ones will be coming out. And you can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. And please help me make this show known by sharing it with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your boss, anyone you think might like it. So that's it. I'll see you in episode 3.